I really don't want to record this yet. Trust me. Okay, let's go back to Friday. Right, we had a machlokus between Rabbi Yochanan and Broka and Rav Shimon. Rabbi Yochanan and Broka said, "What's the bread from Muslim Shtei Sudais? You have it's a half a loaf, half a kav, and in other words, when you can go ahead and buy for one seller, guys, for one seller you can buy four saw. So this was easy, right? This was you had dinarim, 4 dinarim, 6. There's 24. That's 20. That and there's 12. So in every ma there's 12. 4 is 48. This is 24. So 1/48 will buy you a half. That was what we saw on Friday. We saw the shita of Rav Shimon. Rav Shimon said the shita of Rav Shimon. Rav Shimon said a kav baked 3. A kav baked 3 chalas, and from 3 chalas you took a third off, so you have 2/3, 2/3 of a kikar. Question is, which is greater? Which is greater? That's what the Gemara is going to deal with. Which is greater? Now, in addition, we saw that we said the Indian base menuga, and the Indian eating something that we said midaraisa. I've said this many times. Food is not unable to be matama a person. The only thing that can matama a person is an avatuma.
Sorry?
Food never becomes an avatuma, and therefore it can be matama a person. But a person that wouldn't be able to go ahead and eat shumi afterwards, and that'll be half over half the pasal the gavia. Okay, start the Gemara.
Thank you.
Please mute everyone. You didn't mute.
Michelle Anthony.
Okay. Where am I doing? Okay, so now we're gonna start the Gemara on Pei Beis Amid Beis. Pei Beis Amid Beis. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines in the bottom. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka Tana ukroivim devreim liyay shavim. The shitas of Rabbi Yochanan, guys, and Rav Shimon, Rabbi Yochanan's half to his 2/3, made from a half a kav or from a third of a kav, 3 are similar to each other, right? Mi dami, the Rabbi Yochanan arba sudasa. Fellas, if you have a half a kav is 2 meals, then a full kav is 4 meals, right? If a half is 2, then a full kav is 4 meals. And Rav Shimon is teisha sudas. He has each third, 2/3 is 2 meals. So therefore, a complete loaf will be 3 meals, right? So 3, and you have 3 loaves. Is 3 times 3 is 9. So 9 and 4 are not close at all. We have to go ahead and get the discrepancy between 9 and 4. So lakava. So I'm Rav Chisda. Semehen shlish the chenvani. You have to take off a half to pay the chenvani, and if you do that, for kati lamar tishu lamar sheish, you're going to get 9. He's going to be 9, and Reb Shimon's going to be 6. Elakidus Rav Chisda. Damat semehen mechsel chenvani. So a half to the chenvani. V'kati lamar tishu lamar tamne. It's going to be difference between 9 and 8. So I'm the kama craving the vrayim liyashav. They're close to each other. Now, Kasha Rav Chisda, one place he says a half a third. Like Kasha, Hadikayov, Balabayas Tzivi, Hadlayov, Balabayas Tzivi. If the Balabayas gives the wood, then he can give more to the less to the Chenvani. If the Balabayas doesn't give the wood, then he has to give more to the Chenvani because the Chenvani is going to have to provide the wood. We said Chetzia lebeis hamanuga, the Chatzi Chetzia lives so less hagavia. He said again, here's the shita of what. Base menuga, you have to wait inside the time it takes to eat a half of a loaf, and to go ahead and mitama tumas eichlin, half of a half. Again, just to reiterate, tumas eichlin is the rabbana that you mitama truma afterwards. Good. So says the Gemara, the Tana did on my time like 20 tumas eichlin. How come Tana did not go ahead and mention tumas eichlin? Right. And for the Gemara, mishum b'lo shavik shiurayu lehadadi. The amount of the tumas for tumas eichlin is not equal for the amount of what of the shear of tumas oichlin to passel the body is not exact. Some say more and some say less. In other words, by the other ones, they were an exact amount. Over here, it's not what? It's not an exact amount. So for example, we're going to give you an example now. The Tanya, kama shir chatzi pras, when it says, we said a half of a pras for the Beis HaMenuga. What does that mean? Half of a pras is the minimum for making not the Beis HaMenuga, making the body puzzle. Beis beitzim chotza kima. It's 2 legs, 2 eggs minus a little bit. Div Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi says it's beis beitzim shechoikos, 2 large eggs. And Shir Rebbe beis beitzavoy. Rebbe measured, he found the 2 eggs and a little bit more, like 1/20th. Kama va'oid, echad ve'esim beitz, 1/20th of an egg. Okay, so now, then that's the shir by what? By chatzi pras. You look at tumas oichlantan, by the food, it said of nasan Rav Daisa amru, kibetzish amru kimoyo klipasa. The exact amount of the egg is the egg with its shell. And then Rashi says that'll be less of an amount than the others. The chamaim kamahu, like it is, below klipasa. The egg with is only like the egg itself without its shell. So if you can go ahead and compare these 2, they're not going to shtiv, they're not going to match up. These are the opinions of Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yossi regarding how much a chatzi pras is. It's 1.5 of a large egg. That's Rabbi Yochanan Breika, who says it's 1.5 of a large egg. Now, Rabbi Yochanan Breika, he says a quarter of a kav is 6 eggs, and therefore, if a quarter of a kav is 6 eggs, then half of that is 3 eggs. Half of that would be 3 eggs, and half of pras would be half of a half would be 1.5 eggs. So the says pshita. So it's obvious that it's going to be 1.5 eggs. Says my sheichakos asalash. It's coming to teach the chiluk of sheichakos. Kiyasar Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came, shigar bunyas l'Rebbe mudya de kundis de min usa. He sent Rebbe a saw, a measurement of a saw. Yeshiru Rebbe masayin v'shivim v'esim beyin. And Rebbe said it had 217 volumes of an eggs. So this person, Bonyos, sent Rebbe a measuring device, and that saw contained 217 eggs. Now this saw, where did it come from? Where did it belong to? Idim midborius kuf mem dalet. If it's midborius, the measurement of a saw, it'd only be 144 eggs. The cheshbon of a saw, guys, is 6 saw. So there's 6 kav. A kav is 4 loig. A loig is 6 eggs. And therefore, a saw is 6 times 4 times 4 is 144. So it's going to be 144 eggs. To that, you add Yerushalayim, which is a 5th more. That would only give you 173 eggs. And to that, the measure of Tzipuri is a 5th more than 173. It'll give you 207. So we're short 10. From 207 to 217, we're short. So the Gemara answers, the Tzipurius, that's the measurement of 207. And I see Cholsa Shadelayu. And go ahead to make up these 10. We take the shear of challah, that you separate from a saw of flour, and add it to that. And therefore, that makes it, I think, makes it 215. Chalsa kamahava tamna, it's 8. So 207 and 8 is 215. We're still short 2. A kati batzle is still short 2. I see v'oidos to Rebbe shidai. Rebbe said it was an egg and a little more. Take that little more, and you'll get 217. Yihachi havilei tfei. It's mashma even more than 217. So it's going to keep it like havi kebetza like chashavlei. Since the amount is less than a betza, we're not considering it. Tan Rabbanan. Sa'adi Yerushalayim is Yisera midbari yishtus. It's a 6th. V'shal tzibori Yisera yishtus, and the tzipori is more than that by a 6th. And nimsa shal tzipori Yisera al midbari yishlish. It's a 3rd more. The difference between them. I have the. Let me see. I have the chart here. Let me see if I have it online. There you go. That's the 144. It's a 6 more, 6 more. What do we get? Well, I have the math done over here. I'll read it to you. So we said, Shal Yerushalayim is Yisrael Midbar Yishtus, Shal Tzipor is Yisrael Yerushalayim Ishtos nimsa shal tziporius yisrael midbarius shlish. Shlish naman iman shlish midbarius michti. Shlish midbarius kama have. Midbarius is 144 eggs, guys. So a third of 144 is 48. Arba v'tamna. Vilu oitvois shishim v'tles. If you go ahead, the difference between 144 and 207 will be 63, not 48. Vel shlishli Yerushalaimis. It must be a third more than Yerushalaimis. Shlishli de kama have. Yerushalaimis is 172. A third of 172, guys, is 5/7 and 1/3. Right? Chamishim tamya nichi tlis, less a third. Vilu oitvois shishim v'tles. It's got to get to 63. Vel tzipori shlishli da kama hava. 3 of 2 of tzipori. 207 eggs in tzipori. 3 into 207 is 69. Havishim nechlicha, the less one. Vilu oitvois is samach gimel 63. So you have a discrepancy of 69 to 63. Elam Rabbi Yomi hachi kama nimtza social tzipori yisera al midbariyos karev l'shlish shalah. It's more than that by 63 and close to 69. Ushlish shalah, and the third of them of tziporius, which is 69, karev l'mechza the midbariyos, is close to the half of midbariyos. Half of 144 is 72. 69 is close to 72. So in other words, it's close to it. Says the Gemara, Maskav la Ravina midi karev Tani. It doesn't say they were close. It said they were exact. Alam Ravina hachi kamar. Nimtz the shlish shel tzipore b'va oidos shel Rabbi. The shlish shel tzipore, using that little bit more of Rabbi. Yisera al mechza shel midbarius is more than the 72 in midbarius. Shlish by 0.33 beitza, by a third of an egg. Tan Rabbanan. Okay, so therefore it's 72.33. 13 of 217, guys. If you take a third of 217, it's 72.33. So it's only 0.33 more. It's only 0.33 more. Again, there it is in front of you. As I told you, I don't take any. I'm not a math guy. I'm going through this right. I don't think. Onward, Jewish soldiers. Correct? You all masking? You all with me? Good, great. Thank you. I get a mulligan once in a while, right? This is a time to get a mulligan on, right? Okay. You just have a little bit more to go. Says the Gemara. It says the beginning of Chala Reish Avishay Sechem, right? Now the Kama Avishay Sechem, watch this. Avishay Sechem K'tei Isis HaMidbar. It's the size that they did in the midbar. The Kama Isis HaMidbar. What was the amount of dough in the midbar? Dechsev Oimer Asirus Eifa. The Oimer was 1/10 of an Eifa, and the Eifa was equal to 3 sa. So the Oimer and the size was what? 3/10 of a sa. Now, Mikan Amru, Zayin Revoyim Kamach V'Oid Chayeres B'Chala. You have 7/4 of a klav plus a little bit of fraction is Chayev B'Chala. Shein Vav Shel Yishlaimish, which was the 6 roivas of Yishlayim. Shein Chamesh Shel Tzipurei. Mikan Amru, Ha'oichel K'midazu Arizeh Beru Mevarech. Someone eats this amount of challah is healthy and benched. Yisrael Cain, Rav's son, if he eats more than this, he's considered a glutton. Pachs Mikan Makulka Mebeov. He's not going to be good for his digestive tract. Okay. Says the Mishnah. Says it's the last time I did it, I really did do it. I'm getting older. I really did. But okay.
And it was Shabbos.
Excuse me.
And it was Shabbos.
No, it was fine. It was fine. If I thought it would make any more sense, I would spend time on it. But okay. Anshe Chotzav Anshe Merpeset. Okay, let's get a picture up here. You never thought you'd be happy to get back to Eruvin, right? Okay, here you go. Here's the Mer the Chotzer. Here's the Merpeset. There's people living up here. So for all intents and purposes, guys, this is the same as a Chotzer Pnimi. In other words, they have a right of Drisas Regel out of here, correct? This is like the Chotzer, inside Chotzer and the outside Chotzer. Like it's the inside Chotzer and the outside Chotzer. So here you have the guys living up here. You have like a balcony, and then down here, and they have a ladder. Okay. Let's see. Say I'm gonna keep this up. Now they made a stake. They didn't make an eruv. They didn't make an eruv together. So each one is limited to their own rishus. However, Kol she gavoya yut tfachim, anything that's higher than 10 tfachim above the ground, so it's in a separate rishuyas l'chayra, then the shaykhis not a peset. Pachs mikan, less than 10. If it's less than 10, then it would go l'chatzer. Now, chulyas habar basela, you have the bar and the chulya, the surrounding bank of the bar where you put the dirt. Gavoyim asar tfachim merpeset. If it's higher than 10, it goes to the merpeset. Pachas mikan l'chatzer. When is that? Only besmucha. It's got to be within 4 tfachim of the merpeset. If it's a distance away, more than 4 tfachim, then it would go to the chatzer. It's not more than 4 tfachim from the wall. As long as it's not more than 4 tfachim from the wall, it would be what? Merpeset. Okay. Says the Gemara. Shita. Now, lezeh pesach. In a scenario where each one has a pesach, I don't think it's we don't need this now. In a scenario where it's open to both people, in other words, each one can use it easily. So in the scenario of 2 chatzeros that are side by side, it will be a chaloin. We've had Gemara earlier. If you have a chaloin, a window between 2 chatzeros, they have an option. They can make separate Eruvin, or they can make a communal Eruv, right? They can make a communal Eruv. So pshita lezeh pesach, hainu chaloin shebein shtei chatzeros. That would be similar to the chaloin that exists between 2 chatzeros. Lezeh bezrika, they both have to throw, meaning it's higher than 10 tfachim. It's higher than 10 tfachim. So zrika would be a difficult way of getting there. Hainu koisel shebein beis chatzeros. That would be the illustration of kaisel that's between 2 chatzeros, 10 by 4, that we said you can't take anything down and you can't pick anything up because it's a separate rishus. That's the 10th amount to throwing something on top. So Pesach is easy, Zrika is hard. Pesach would make something that's easy, and Zrika is hard. Okay. Lezeh b'shilshul, you have to lower to get there. Lezeh b'shilshul, in other words, they're both equally difficult. Good. Hainu chritz shebein beis chatzeros. That's the same as what? A ditch between 2 chatzeros. In other words, it's the same thing as a wall, right? They both have, it would answer. Lezeh b'pesach, which is easy. Ulezeh b'zrika, which is hard. Lezeh b'pesach, lezeh b'zrika. Hainu de Rabbi bar Huna. That's equivalent to, fellas, you have a wall. Rabbi said earlier, you have a wall, but it's unequal. To one, it's 10 tefachim high. To the other one, he is elevated. His earth is elevated, and it's much easier for him to use. So that goes to the one that's much easier. Amar of Nachman, lezeh b'pesach, lezeh b'shilshul. One pesach, one shilshul. This would be where one is closer to the chritz than the other one. The one is chritz is 10, and the other one is less within 5 or 4. Hainu de Rav Shizvi. So all these have been discussed. Amar of Nachman, how about this one? Lezeh b'shilshul, lezeh b'zrika. One, you have to get to it through lowering, and the other one, you have to get to it through throwing. What's the din? So Amarav, shneim asurim. They're both asar. Because since they're both difficult, you got both negatives, guys. You have to lower yourself, shilshul, and zrika, you have to go ahead and throw. Says Rav, in both cases they're asar. It's difficult. Shmuel says no, and listen to Shmuel, because we're going to spend time on Shmuel tomorrow. Shmuel Amar, noisnin oisa lezeh shebishilshul. Why? You give it to the one to lower. That even though, fellas, shilshul is hard and zrika is hard, lowering is still easier than throwing. And we said earlier, shelezeh tashmishay benachas. One, lowering is tashmish is easier. Ulezeh tashmishay bekasher. And one is difficult. So again, just to conclude, we have a scenario where to use it, for one person you'd have to throw, and the other person would have to lower. Correct? Who gets it? Says Rav, they both answer. They both can't use it. Says Shmuel, the one who lowers, because lowering is easier than throwing, and we have a rule: b'zeh benachas. If you can use this one easily, b'zeh bekasher, you go give it to the one that's more easy. In this case, the lowering one. And we'll pick it up here tomorrow. B'ezras Hashem. Yisbarach.